told everyone that I'm coming to South Africa to speak, and they did not believe me. So I want to take a video with everyone in the background that I'm going to send to everyone back in Sweden, so everyone's going to see it. So I want you all to be in my video. I want everyone to help me out. So if everyone could kind of stand up really quick. And when I raise my hand, I want all of you to be really excited while I take this video, okay?
Yeah.
Woo! Awesome. Thank you so much for helping me out. So when I get started today, I actually kind of want to start by sharing a little story with you. So I want to set the scene. This is from Alice in Wonderland. So I'm sure everyone is familiar with the story of Alice in Wonderland. So this is Alice as she's faced with, should she go right or should she go left, with the Cheshire Cat sitting up in the tree, and she's about to have a conversation with him. So picture Alice, two directions she could go with the Cheshire Cat up in the tree. So it starts off with Alice saying, "Would you please tell me which way I should go from here?" The cat then responds to her, "That depends a good deal on where you want to get." Alice says, "I don't really care." And then the cat says, "Then it doesn't really matter which way you go." Now I want you to think about that for a second. Alice doesn't know where she wants to go, so she doesn't know where to start. A lot of us as business owners or entrepreneurs don't always know where we're going, so we don't know where to start. And I don't want that to happen to any of you. So I want to share with you today a little bit about how we can avoid that happening for you. So you always know where you're going, so you know where you can start. Now, and why you should kind of be listening to what I'm saying, because in the past 2 years, I've actually launched 5 successful businesses. So I know what it's like when you have an idea about a business and you're not really sure what to do. But I've been able to kind of figure that out, and that's what I want to share with you today. Now, how many of you sitting in the audience actually have right now in your head an idea for a business, a new product or service? Right? Everyone has a great idea. Now, how many of you have had a great idea before? You knew it was a great idea, knew that people would buy it, but like Alice, you didn't know where you were going. You didn't know how to make it, so you didn't know where to start. So you never started. Then 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road, you see that exact product in the store. You see that exact service that somebody else is providing, and somebody else has become a millionaire from the idea that you had. You had that exact same idea. Has that happened to anyone ever before? Yeah, that has? It hasn't? So nobody in here has ever had an idea that they've seen come to life. Yeah. I know you have. Yeah. All right, I know you have. I know sometimes we don't want to admit it, right? Because you don't want to admit that you had that idea and you didn't take action. But it's okay. I've been through that myself. So like I said, I'm from Sweden. In Stockholm, there's actually these little cards that you have that to get on the bus. They're like a credit card shape, and they're blue, and they're boring. You pay a lot of money to have one of these cards, and you have to have them if you want to participate in public transportation. But they're these ugly blue cards. And I'd always thought there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a way that a business could advertise, or it could be a discount card or something else to do with this card that you have to buy that's just blue and ugly and boring that sits in your pocket or in your purse for all the ladies. But I never did anything. I didn't really know how to create the vision, how to make it into a reality. I didn't know where I was going, so I didn't have a place to start. Well, now, here we are, 2 years after I had that idea, and somebody has done that exact same thing. They've taken that ugly blue bus card and made it into a discount card. I thought of that, but I didn't take action. Because of that, I developed my 5-step process on the questions you have to ask yourself about an idea. And that's why now I've been able to launch 5 successful businesses over the past 2 years, because when I have an idea, I go through the process and I'm able to develop the vision to make that idea into a reality. So would anyone here like to know my 5 top secret questions you need to ask yourself if you have a business idea. Would anyone want to know that?
Yes.
Okay. So I need you to make sure you have a pen and paper. I want you to write this down. No videos, no pictures. I'm only going to do this once, and I've never shared this with anyone before. But coming to South Africa, JT wanted me to make sure that I'm sharing some really great information with you, so I'm actually going to give you the 5 questions you need to ask yourself. Are we sure everyone's ready?
Yes.
All right. So number 1, is there a market for your idea? It's probably the most important question you can ask yourself, because you want to make sure that somebody is actually there that wants to buy your product or service. Just because you have a great idea, you want to make sure you're not your only customer. 2 questions you can kind of ask yourself is, does your product or service solve a problem? Is there currently a problem in the marketplace that what your idea is actually going to fix that problem? If it is, that's probably a really good sign that you have a great idea that you could turn into a business. The second question you could ask yourself, does it make people happier or does it improve somebody's lifestyle? If you can answer yes to one of those 2 questions, there's a pretty good chance you have a product or an idea or a service that would make a great business. So if you say yes to number 1, the next thing you need to ask yourself is there competition in the marketplace? So you need to think about this 2 different ways. The first way being, is there a lot of competition? If there is, are you doing it faster? Are you doing it better? Are you doing it cheaper? Are you innovating the idea to stand out from the competition? If you are, then that's a yes, and that means you can move on to number 3. Now, if there isn't any competition in the marketplace, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a no. You need to look into other industries to see, are other industries already doing this, and it just hasn't made it to this industry yet. If that's the case, then you can say yes, even if there isn't any direct competition. So if you know there's customers for it, you've answered the competition, you move on to number 3. Can you make money, right? At some point, as a business owner, entrepreneur, you actually want to make money. You've got to be able to make money if you want to give back or do other things, but it's not about doing something for free. So you have to make sure, are people going to pay for the product or service? And if they are willing to pay for the product or service, are they willing to pay enough for there to be a big enough margin to create a profitable business? If people are only willing to pay what it costs you to produce the product or costs you to provide the service, then it's not a viable business and it's not going to be something that's going to be worth your time. But if it is, that's 3 yeses, which means we can now move on to question number 4. Are you passionate about this? Do you see yourself doing this 2 to 3 years from now? If you're not excited about it, if you're not waking up every day because this is such an awesome idea, all you're doing is creating another job for yourself. And the last thing you want to do is create another job where you're not going to be happy and you're not going to be doing this 2 to 3 years from now. So if you're passionate, if you're excited, if that alarm clock goes off every morning and you're already out of bed because you're so excited about your idea, that's a yes to number 4. So now we have 4 yeses and we are on our way to an awesome business idea. So now the 5th question, do you have a vision? Now this one's kind of tricky because you may at this point have 4 yeses, but you don't know how to create the vision. Well, that's where I've come in to play. I've been able to work with people that had an idea and was able to help them implement that idea into a vision to create that into their reality. So if you're not sure how to make it into a vision, that's okay, because I can help you with that. And I'm going to share with you some examples of a few people that I've worked with where that's exactly what I've done. So Christopher came to me with this idea of how do I integrate a wellness company with customers to be able to increase sales for the wellness company, right? So this is kind of the idea it has. So we're going to walk through those 5 questions. The first being, is there a market? Well, of course, because the wellness companies, they're always looking for more customers, and the customers are always looking for an easier way to engage and buy from those wellness companies. So we can say for number 1, yes, we have a market. So question 2, competition. What's the competition in the marketplace? Well, the wellness industry is very competitive, and there's always more people, especially in Sweden. Us Swedish people are very concerned about health and wellness, so it's a very competitive marketplace. But nobody's really matching up the buyers with the sellers, so to speak. So this was a new area in the marketplace where we knew we could kind of create a niche where we could do something differently and innovate to stand out from everyone else. So that's a yes to the competition question. Next is profitable. Well, of course this can be profitable because once we build out the platform, we're able to make commission and residual income from the people buying through the platform. So it was very easy to figure out that this would be profitable and we would be able to make money from this. 4th, passion. Is Christopher actually passionate about this? Was he going to wake up every day and be excited to go to work? Well, luckily, his entire professional background was in the wellness industry, and he was just dying for a way to make it better and improve on this. So he had a lot of passion. So lastly, is there a vision? Well, that's where I was really able to help Christopher. He didn't have the vision. He didn't know how to lay it out. He just had this idea. So we were able to implement and create a vision, which luckily created this company that I'm not even going to try and pronounce, which has now been around for however many months and is actually a very profitable business where people are actually connect in the way that Christopher first envisioned. So here's just one example. Another example I had was Joe, who came to me with this idea of there's got to be a way to actually integrate how people can get a gym membership online. Right now you have to walk into the gym and there's no way to do it online, and you can do anything online, so why can't I buy a gym membership? And wouldn't it be cool if you could actually compare to know which gym you want to go to, maybe the classes that they have, the programs that they have. So this was his idea. So what did we do? Went through the 5 questions. The first one being market. Is there a market? Yes, of course there's a market. Everybody's doing everything online and wants to make everything easier for themselves. So there was absolutely a market for this. The second being competition. Well, there's a lot of gyms out there and there's a lot of competitive gyms, but there was nobody doing it online. We were innovating. We were doing something different than all of a competition when everyone's in the marketplace to want to do everything online. So there was an open in the market. Is it profitable? Well, of course it's profitable because the gyms would love a way to be able to make more money, and we're the person bridging the gap for being able to bring more customers to them. So there's very easily profit in that. Passion. Jim was incredibly passionate about this. He'd spent years as a trainer and was always looking for a way to make it better, so we knew he was passionate. Lastly, is there a vision? Well, guess what? That's where I was able to help, and that's where I was able to help him create. Which then we created something that I forget the name of. But in the 3 months it's been since we've actually launched, or in the first 3 months of launching, he's had over 100 different customers. So clearly this was an idea that worked. And lastly, is someone you may actually know and recognize the name, but is Linnea, you may have already seen speak. So she had the idea of how do we connect women and create this community where women can connect with each other based on things that they're interested in and things that they like to do. So we kind of went through, again, those same questions. What's the first one? Market. Yes, of course there is a market because there are tons of women that are looking for a way to connect. Competition. Now there's actually a lot of competition, but we were going to do this differently and bring more value to the table and be able to pair people up together. Profitable. There's so many different revenue streams and way for us to make profit from this idea that it made perfect sense. Passion. Well, I think you can tell how passionate she is, so there was no question of if there was going to be enough passion. And lastly was the vision. Not only did she have a vision, but it was almost too big of a vision. So we had to work backwards to start with what is the vision on a smaller scale so we can then start small to build it big again. And what did we create? Smart Sisters, which actually just launched this month in Sweden, and we plan to launch globally over the next year. So as you can see, these were some people that had an idea, but they were kind of like Alice. They weren't really sure where they were going, so they weren't really sure where to start. But I don't want there to be any Alices. I want everyone to know where they're going, and I want to help them figure out where to start. So when I was able to work with all of these people, we were able to figure out this is the vision of where we're going, so this is where we need to start. Now this is a quote I want all of you to write down. Planning does not give you results, action will. It doesn't matter how much you plan, it doesn't matter how much time you spend planning, if you never take action, you will never get the results that you want. So I want to challenge all of you that have a result sitting in the audience today, or have an idea sitting in the audience today. I want to challenge you, come find me on the next break, because I'm going to help you turn your idea into vision, into your next business